Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 68 of the In From Japan podcast, the podcast where we talk about the latest news on Japan-developed games and other things in relation to them. Available on YouTube and in most places podcasts can be found. As always, I'm your host, Erroll Moss, and with me, as always, is my co-host, the phenomenon from Suriname, Jason Corder.
Hey, hey.
And just a little bit of housekeeping. We have some highlights from the new Pokemon Snaps, the first new Pokemon Snap stream I did with my buddy Andrew, who has no knowledge of Pokemon. So make sure to go check that out. We're gonna try to do it this weekend too. So his reactions weren't as great. The first area in Pokemon Snap is a little tame. I feel like there's nothing too I mean, once you get to the night level, it was a little weirder, but yeah, I'm sure there's more, so make sure to tune into that. I'm not sure what time. I'm thinking it's going to be a Saturday or Sunday afternoon Pacific time is when we'll do our second stream, twitch.tv/ErrolM.
Okay.
And also, there should be, by the time this is out, there should be a Judgment Reacts up, reacting to the Judgment stream, which, I mean, the game leaked, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But you should still check it out. So, without further ado, we're going to move right on to the Japanese games we've been playing. So, like I said, I've been playing new Pokemon Snap a little bit. Just kind of taking my time with it because of those streams. But it's very soothing.
Okay.
Very calm and wholesome game. Kind of makes me feel almost like, at least with the people that I've seen playing it feels almost like when Animal Crossing New Horizons released. Not on the same scale, of course.
But the same general vibe.
Like a very similar vibe, yes.
Is this
but also like mixed with nostalgia.
Is this the first Pokemon Snap you're playing?
No, I had Pokemon Snap through Wii Virtual Console, and I played it actually several times.
Oh, okay. So there is some sense of nostalgia for you.
Yes.
Okay.
And I like it so far. It's just like it's unfortunate that I'm like taking my time, like really taking my time with it with those streams.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't mind too much since I'm playing other games in the meantime.
I mean, do you have to take your time?
I mean, I'm just trying to do it. The way I'm doing the streams is that I want us both to experience the new areas at the same time.
Okay.
So, like, I just unlocked the jungle area, and I haven't done it yet.
Okay. Well.
But I can still go back, because I'm missing a few from the first area, a few Pokemon. So I could always just go back and do that while I wait.
Okay.
But, like I said, I'm also playing other games, such as Nier Replicant, which I just got to Act 2, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't want to get too spoilery, but there's a time skip and some character stuff changes, but it's still kind of the same. You get a couple more weapons to use. You can use two-handed swords and spears, in addition to your martial arts and one-handed swords.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I got any new magic attacks yet, but I have gotten new words, which I don't know if I talked about it last time, but words are what you can equip to all your different stuff to give them different bonus effects, like boosting attack or boosting experience and stuff like that.
So kind of like the chip system from Automata.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah, so I did talk about it. Yeah, I remember you mentioning that. I did talk about that. There was this one section I just went in through that was just a huge maze that was kind of annoying because it's like mostly from a top-down view, and just the way you'll go up to a door and it'll be like, you'll need this key, and I was like, well, I don't know where that is, but you'll literally like take a couple steps and you'll see there's something to interact with, and it'll be the key. But like you won't know the key is there until you move over there.
Okay.
So it's a little, it's not like super difficult or anything to find stuff. It just feels a little weird. doing things that way. And then you just fight enemies in between the room, and there's another character following you, but if you get too far, the book Weiss says, "Hey, wait up." Like, dude's behind, and I'm like, it doesn't matter, he'll catch up.
But are you still enjoying it?
I mean, a little bit. Like, I'm kind of... It's like, I like it, but I don't love it, kind of a thing.
Okay.
I'm still enjoying it enough to continue, but that's because the next... Like I said before, there's always, like, something it does that I really like, and then something after that I don't like so much. And this maze thing I don't like so much, but the last boss fight of Act 1 and like the cutscene in it and stuff was super cool.
But you're also early on in the game, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I'm still relatively early on, yes.
Yeah, so I think
but I don't know how much I don't know if things will change that much. I don't expect them to change all that much.
Well, I don't think the story is going to hit you until a bit later. Because
it's not really the story I have the issue with. It's more just like some of the gameplay, how it does certain gameplay sections.
Well, it is a kind of dated design, gameplay wise.
Yeah,
but
you can definitely feel it.
But in terms of the story, are you enjoying that then?
I'm enjoying it enough. Like, that maze had a lot of... in that maze, you get a lot of information and background on a certain character. And, like, kind of insight into maybe why a certain character has certain abilities and their origins. But it's not... I don't know how much more it's going to reveal. Because it has, like, the characters kind of questioning it, and it's not, like... It doesn't reveal all the details yet, but, like, you're putting the pieces together kind of step by step.
Okay.
And that's what's kind of kept me going right now. I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
It's kind of surprising that you're kind of having a lukewarm reception towards the game compared to my whole timeline being filled with Nier replicant stands. But
yeah, I don't know if you saw my tweet that I tagged our buddy Michael in today about Kingdom Hearts and Nier and how they both have cheesy friendship stuff in them.
I mean, the Nakama power angle is pretty well known in Japanese media, so it wouldn't really surprise me.
But yeah, other than that, I've been kind of working on some stuff. So I've not been playing, fooling around in non-Japanese games like Skate 3.
Yeah, I saw it on Xbox. Yeah,
and that's about it.
Okay.
I should get back to Code Vein at some point, but I don't know when that'll be.
Okay.
Oh yeah, so I saw you started playing the first Xenoblade.
Yes. I recently got Xenoblade Chronicles Deluxe Edition for Switch. I believe it's still on sale on various online retailers like Amazon. I got it for about 40.
But Nintendo first-party games never go on sale.
Well, sometimes. They just usually don't. Yeah, it's still on sale for $40. And that price,
worth it.
You might as well get it as soon as possible because first-party titles, as we said, don't go on sale very often. Yeah, I've been playing Xenoblade Chronicles. I think I'm in for about like 20 hours. I want to say. I'm not so sure. I've done pretty much all the side quests in Colony 9, which is maybe not the best use of my time, but yeah, I like checking off boxes, so I'm that kind of RPG gamer. But yeah, I've been enjoying it so far. The story and the tone of the game is very much grounded in comparison to Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and that I like a whole lot more. I also like the unified art design in comparison to Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and I like the combat system a whole lot more. It's kind of convoluted, but
it's done, Van.
yeah, it's done, but it's the
You fell right into that one.
the combat is convoluted, but it at least is a better onboarding experience than whatever is in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Because I've played 2 for about 55 hours, and I still have no idea how the combat really works. But in this one, I'm like, okay, this goes into this and goes into that, which results in a chain attack, for example. And I'm like, okay, that I can wrap my head around. So I'm enjoying that. The only gripe I have is the conversation system where you have these bonding moments, and that leads into a cutscene where you and party members talk about various things. I think skits from the Tales series, and you'll have a general idea. So there are dialogue options in those conversations, but you don't know the backstory that these characters are referencing. So you can, depending on the choice, choose an incorrect answer, and then that leads to a lower affinity ranking between you and your party member. And I'm like, so you're punishing me for something I didn't know, but you're pretending that I do know. How does that make sense? I
never did those because I never had like the requirements for them. So I was like, well, I'm not even gonna. Well,
you have to do the side quests, and that boosts your affinity towards townspeople and party members. And depending on the level of affinity between you and your party members, that unlocks the bonding moment. So
yeah, they just never felt necessary to me.
Are they necessary for completing the game? No. But it does give context to relationships and the world around you, which, I'm all about. And if you're playing an RPG, you're kind of missing the extra sauce that goes with the meal, so to speak. So
I think you get enough characterization in the story itself.
Sure, but
at least for me,
there are little moments that give it that much more depth. I don't know if you've played any of the Tales games yet, but those skits are not necessary for completing the game, but the way they explore the characters and the world around you, it kind of makes them feel required, even though they're not. So yeah, there's that.
So what was the thing you tweeted about where your jaw dropped in the first couple hours?
The first, I want to say 2 to 3 chapters are more or less the prologue of the game. And at the climax of the prologue, there's something that happens. I don't want to spoil it. And that just completely floored me because the whole conceit of the game is that Shulk, the main character, has this sword called the Monado, and that allows him to see into the future. And the way that element is used and explored within the story is really surprising. So I'd say play through the first 10 or so hours, and then you'll hit that spot where I'm at or where I was, and then you'll be just as surprised, probably. But I just like how grounded it is and how they set up the stakes to be paid off later on in the story. So I'm enjoying that. Yeah, so I've been playing that, and I've also been playing Aokana, which
never heard of it.
I talked about this I think 10 to 20 episodes ago. It's a visual novel.
Well, that was a while back.
Yeah. I completed the first episode. You can view it as kind of an anime series, but it's more or less set as a visual novel. So I completed the first episode, and it's really surprising in how much the game can deliver on the storytelling and the characterization. through static images that move a bit, and the voice acting, which is very neat. Even though it's very gameplay light, it's still enjoyable enough. And well, the story is centered around this small Japanese island, where the people there, it's kind of more or less a modern day setting. The people there have these anti-gravity shoes, which allows them to travel short distances from point A to point B. So that sets up the world. And the main character is kind of dealing with a personal trauma. And the whole game is about him forging new relationships with people and also kind of opening up about said trauma. And even though it is a trauma, it is not as dark as you think it'd be. It's very lighthearted and very, shall I say, fluffy, but not in such a way that you'd be kind of nauseous about all the upbeat characters. It's just teenage kids doing teenage things, and it's more or less fine. The version I'm playing is on Switch. You also have it on PS4 and on PC. There was some hubbub around this game because a version of it is also an eroge, which is kind of a hentai game, hentai visual novel game. And the version we got in the West is
not that one.
It's not that. It's very much PG-13, so to speak. So it's got some suggestive moments, but it's not enough that.
It's more like a TV-14 anime type thing.
Yeah,
full on adults only.
Yeah. It's something you could probably air on Cartoon Network and. Something that wouldn't be on Adult Swim, so you can rest easy. So yeah, that's what I've been playing these days, except for the Western games on the Xbox.
Yeah, you might dip into that a little later.
Yeah.
For now, we'll move on to the J list, where we talk about recent video game related entertainment news. So first we have Pokemon Sword and Shield English manga adaptation will appear in August. This is by Jenny Lotta for Siliconera. People will get to see a different take on Pokemon Sword and Shield's story, as the first volume of the manga will appear in English on August 10th, 2021. This series will continue the Hidenori Kusaka and Satoshi Yamamoto Pokemon Adventure series outside of Japan. The adaptation follows both the male and female trainers from the game. In the English version, the girl is named Casey and the boy is named Henry. Both are research assistants for Professor Magnolia and have a dream of competing in the Galar League, just like players' avatars in the Nintendo Switch game. The first volume involves the two trying to get Leon's approval so they can start challenging gym leaders. There are also hints alluding to the legendaries from the games, as Henry is trying to learn more about the rusted sword and shield connected to Zacian and Zamazenta. It'll be available on August 10th. Viz Media does have a product page for the first volume online. It doesn't have a preview of the manga available yet. When it does launch, it'll cost $4.99. Stores like Amazon and Right Stuff are already accepting pre-orders. $5 for the first volume of a manga. That's pretty good.
Yeah, usually mangas go for about that price.
Really? I feel like they usually go for like 7 or 8.
It varies. You have typically
kids manga does seem to be cheaper usually. Yeah.
You have some things in the range between 5 and 13, I'd say.
Yeah.
And you can look up on Amazon, the Kindle store, and you can also look up on Bookwalker, which has a Western site, and they typically have a lot of sales from time to time. So if you want it cheaper, just wait a bit, and you'll get it while saving some money.
I sure do miss going to local comic book stores, but soon enough.
Yeah, you're lucky. I have no comic book stores, if I'm not mistaken.
Not even like a bookstore?
There should be one comic book store near me, but I've never been, and I don't know how they're functioning since the pandemic. So I've just been getting all my comic books and manga digitally.
Yeah, I don't know how the comic book shop closest to me is doing, but they are known for being overpriced.
Oh wow.
So there's another comic book shop downtown that I like going to that's still running smoothly, it seems like. So some point I'll go back there.
Okay.
Okay, this next story, I think IGN is down.
Okay. Yeah, but have you read the story? Because I can talk a bit about it.
So Justice Smith doesn't think Detective Pikachu 2 is going to happen.
Yeah.
It's the next story. I could get up another.
Some context surrounding this. I think it was Alex Donaldson of VG247 and RPG site
we'll get GameSpot.
that said that this was always the plan. I think it was him. It could be Liam Robertson. I'm probably getting them confused.
Sorry, Justice Smith said in an interview. This is from GameSpot by Eddie McCoo. Star Justice Smith said in an interview with Inverse that he would love to be asked back for a sequel, but he doesn't think it's in the cards. I would love to participate in Detective Pikachu 2. I don't know if it's going to happen. I think we just have to just kind of bury our hopes. I don't think it's going to happen. I really hope so, though. Honestly, I'm such a huge fan. Who knows? I hope so. So, with how much money it made, and how it ended, you could probably still make something in the same universe, and then Justice Smith could just have a cameo or something.
Yeah, so as I was saying, I think it was either Alex Donaldson or Liam Robertson on Twitter that said that this was always the plan, that Detective Pikachu was going to be a one-off, and that they're setting up another live-action Pokemon movie that does not follow the Detective Pikachu storyline. And if
Pokemon Snap the movie,
if all goes according to plan, it will probably be an adaptation of the Kanto storyline. So
it's so like Pokemon Origins.
Yeah, more or less, or the Pokemon anime first season
ish.
Yeah.
But because like with how Detective Pikachu ended, it's like how would they even make a sequel? I don't know. And then there's that other thing, whatever that Detective Pikachu thing for Switch they're working on. That's still unclear if it was a port or a sequel or an enhanced port. We haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah.
Since they said like, oh yeah, we're working on another Detective Pikachu thing. So that also might get confusing for people. Might get kind of confused with that too, because a lot of people did not know about Detective Pikachu the game until after the movie, and they're like, "Oh, it's a 3DS game."
Well, it was marketed more towards children. Not so.
Pokemon always is, but still.
Not so much the older fan base that's also into Pokemon, and kind of the older fan base that has the ability to buy movie tickets, and I don't think the parents who have children who are kind of into Pokemon are aware of the broader Pokemon universe of media franchises. So it's a whole mess of things that lead into this not resonating as much as it should and not leading up to a sequel.
All right. Moving on to the next story. Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 has become Hideaki Anno's most grossing movie. This is by Kite Stenbook for Siliconera. Kara has published an update to Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 Thrice Upon a Time's box office revenue through the franchise's official Twitter account after the Golden Week holidays ended on May 5th, 2021. With over 8.28 billion yen recorded, Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 is now Hideaki Anno's most top-grossing movie throughout his directing career. And Shin Godzilla is like right under that.
which I believe. Yeah.
I'm curious to see how Shin Ultraman does in Japan. Because here, I don't think it would do that well.
No, probably not.
I'd go see it. I mean, if it was safe. I still need to watch Evangelion. I've never seen it.
You never? I mean, not even the original series?
Nope.
Wow.
And people are like, don't watch the Netflix version.
Why?
Because the script is different and worse.
It's not worse, it's different. They did a redone translation, so it's not the same one.
I saw the voice actor, some of the older voice actors said it was a script that they refused to use for the original dub.
That might as well be, but that's neither here nor there concerning the quality. I mean, I'd say if it's available to you, just watch it. Otherwise, you'd have to buy the Blu-ray box set and then watch it via there. But if you have Netflix and the series is on it, why not?
Maybe. I can always ask my friend who's watched it for the extra context that I need or whatever stuff is missing or changed. Next, we're going to move on to recommended content other than news from the past week listed out, links in the description. So we have New Pokemon Snap pushes against everything I learned in photojournalism class by Kenneth Shepard for Fanbyte. Feature Save Me Mr. Tako, Dev on Japan, Franglais, and Parting Ways with Nicalis by Andrew J. Rue for Nintendo Life. What It's Like to Localize the Yoko Taro video game by Patrick Klepek for Vice. Final Fantasy XIV PS5 grants a new appreciation for the visuals of Eorzea by Joel Couture for Siliconera. Review Resident Evil Village starts strong and loses its luster by Kazuma Hashimoto for Siliconera. Now, I put Kazuma's review on here specifically because Kazuma is probably the biggest Resident Evil fan, one of the biggest Resident Evil fans I know. He will reference lore stuff from these extra books and these notes and all these other things. I'll be like, whoa. I know plenty of other big Resident Evil fans, but not to the point where they know so many details about certain characters.
Well, you have Brittany Bombacher. You have
she was on the Kind of Funny review, right?
Yeah, you have also Michael Huber. There are plenty of Resident Evil fans.
Yeah, Kazuma's just the one that I highlighted here just because of how much he knows about the franchise.
Okay.
Then we have Gaming in Color, Uncovering Video Games Black Pioneers by Tola Onanuga for The Guardian. Final Fantasy VI's Broken World resonates differently in ours today by Steve Watts for GameSpot. Yoko Taro didn't mean to make Nier sad on purpose by our friend Michael Higham over at GameSpot. Which, did you see this interview?
Yeah.
It's great. It's good stuff.
There's some spoiler stuff in it, so be careful.
Yeah. I still recommend checking it out if you don't mind spoilers. And then Japanese game support on Xbox has been approving a lot by me for Parallax Media.
There you go.
And we're going to be talking about that later. That's going to be our main topic. But for now, we're going to move on to the news rundown. And so for the baddish news, I'll let our Shinigami take it away.
Yes, Bankai. So starting off, we have Konami to skip E3 2021 in deep development on a number of key projects, quote unquote. This is by Sal Romano for Gamatsu. Konami will not attend E3 2021, which will run from June 12th to 15th, but is in deep development on a number of key projects, the company said in a statement. Updates on those projects are planned for the coming months. You can click on the article for the full statement. So yeah, that's a bummer for those wondering what the next Metal Gear or Pro Evolution title would look like, I guess. Yeah. Oh well. Next up, Japan considers extending COVID-19 state of emergency. This is by Rafael Antonio Pineda for Anime News Network. The Japanese national government is leaning toward extending the current new coronavirus disease, COVID-19, state of emergency in 4 prefectures, after the Osaka prefectural government reported it would ask for an extension. Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga is consulting with cabinet officials and experts on Wednesday and could arrive at a decision within this week. The Japanese government declared state of emergency in Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, and Yoga prefectures on April 23rd, which is slated to lift on May 11th. The state of emergency was intended to curb the amount of travel during the country's ongoing Golden Week holidays. So yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully things get better. I mean...
Oh, yeah, fingers crossed.
I hope. Yeah. All right. Moving on to in other news. Judgment 2 leaks. Release date, platforms, editions, and everything we know. I didn't know there was that much info.
Well...
Oh, this is by Joshua Broadwell for Gfinity. The Judgment 2 rumors were true. A day ahead of RGG Studios' Judgment Day, the Japanese PSN leaked the existence of Judgment 2, officially called Lost Judgment. Naturally, the actual announcement has yet to take place at the time of writing, but the PSN list does provide a few key details. One of them is the Judgment 2 release date, which is set for fall 2021. It'll come in at least 2 editions, though as of yet, we don't know what each one will include. However, the Digital Deluxe promises early access, something Sega's been keen on doing with its recent releases in the West as well. That's about it.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get more info tomorrow. So it's unfortunate that, that Japanese PSN leaked this before, literally the day before they announced it.
Yeah, it's probably a thing where they thought, oh, no one's going to notice. We updated the PSN stored page for this. Lo and behold.
Nobody's going to be looking.
Yeah, you should all be sleeping.
I'm still going to do a reacts for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's still going to be new info. Obviously, there's still plenty of stuff we don't know.
Yeah, and I'm wondering
that'll probably be revealed.
If the name is going to stick for the Western release, because in Japan, the first Judgment is called Judgment Eyes, if I'm not mistaken.
Isn't it called Judge Eyes?
Or Judge Eyes? Let me look it
up. That's kind of weird that it's called Lost Judgment, but I feel like Lost Judgment could stay.
Let's see. What is it called in Japan? Where it doesn't. Okay. It doesn't really say. That's weird.
Judge Eyes, the Grim Reaper's Will.
Wikipedia, you have failed me. That's a first.
This was from the Yakuza wiki.
Okay. Yeah, so it being called Lost Judgment is surprising. So, considering Judgment was the Western title, I would assume this is hinting at a global release then.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I guess we'll see tomorrow. Or when you're hearing this today.
Yeah.
Next up is Final Fantasy VII, The First Soldier official live stream number 0 set for May 7th. This is by Sal Romano for Gamatsu. Square Enix will host the Final Fantasy VII, The First Soldier official live stream number 0 on May 7th at 20:00 JST, the company announced. You will be able to watch it on YouTube in Japanese and on Twitch in Japanese with English commentary. The broadcast will feature the latest information and first live gameplay of Final Fantasy VII, The First Soldier, as well as new information on Final Fantasy VII Remake integrated at the end of the stream. That's clever. them front ending it with like the game itself, and then have people tune in for remake integrate. But yeah, that's bound to be something. So keep your eyes out for that. Next up, we have, in a bit of surprising news, ESRB rates Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom Princess Edition for Switch. This is by Sal Romano for Gamatsu. The Entertainment Software Rating Board has rated Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom Princess Edition for Switch. Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom first launched for PlayStation 4 and PC via Steam in March 2018. A Switch version has yet to be announced. I mean, isn't it at this point, as the title suggests? But okay.
Wait, yeah.
I think they just didn't update the rest of the text to match the title yet. But yeah, that's surprising, especially considering the Western branch of Level 5 closed down recently at the end of last year, right? So them bringing a Switch port is surprising.
Of course, this may have been planned and then just got delayed.
There is
because
that
of the pandemic.
Yeah, it might have been set in motion like 2-3 years ago, and they just have been working really hard at making the port as smooth as possible. Because the Switch is not as powerful as a PC or PS4, so some concessions will have been made. But it does make me curious though. If it wasn't like a pandemic delay,
could be whether the upcoming mobile game will see an international release, or not. It's already getting an internet, but a global release.
I doubt the mobile game will be getting a global release, only because that feels
never
like
say never.
I'm still doubting it.
How dare you?
I just did. I'm doubting it because it feels like a project set forth by Level 5 in its current incarnation, and not Level 5 as it was 2 to 3 years ago, when they still had a global.
Most Level 5 mobile games have not been localized.
Well, there's that
for the West.
Ni no Kuni does have some brand recognition in the West, so it could still be possible that we get a Western release, but I'm not counting it as likely.
We'll see.
Yep.
Next we have Final Fantasy X and X-2 join Xbox Game Pass. This is by Jenny Landa for Siliconera. Finally, Microsoft announced the Xbox Game Pass library is adding an additional older Final Fantasy game. Final Fantasy X, X-2 HD do I say slash X-2 HD remaster? I don't know.
Just say 10, X-2.
It will show up on both consoles and PCs on May 13, 2021. Its inclusion means only the Final Fantasy XIII entries are absent. However, Final Fantasy IX will leave Xbox Game Pass on May 15, 2021. So I could finally give this game a third time's the charm.
Oh, so you've never really finished this?
I've barely tried it. I'll always get to a point and then just stop being interested.
Is there anything
I tried it on PS3 and that happened. I tried it again on PS4 like a year later. Same thing happened.
But what is it that makes you stop then?
I don't. It was a while ago, so I don't really remember. But now I can try it without spending extra money and remember what it was.
I bet it was Blitzball that made you stop.
That might have been a part of it, but no, I got past that.
Oh wow!
It was after that.
Well, I have no idea that it might have been one of the early.
But Blitzball didn't help. I'll tell you that much.
No, it made me stop on my second playthrough because I played it originally on a buddy's Vita, so I couldn't have my own account on it, so I never got any of the trophies. Yeah. But I still have the game card, and with my Vita TV, I figured, you know what, I'll just replay it and get all the trophies for myself. But then I landed on the Blitzball tutorial, and I'm like, yeah, no. I have better things to do in my life. Next up is Nier Reincarnation English localization is finished. This is by Onidino for Siliconera. Nier Reincarnation director Daiichi Matsukawa took to the game's official Twitter account to update people on the English localization. The team has finished localizing the initial release, and they are currently making final adjustments leading to the title's pre-registration period. Additionally, the Twitter account shared a glimpse of the English version in action, showcasing Mama's voice acting. This is Mama with a capital M. After announcing that the team has finished the English localization for Nier Reincarnation, Matsukawa ended his status update on an exciting note. He asked fans to wait a bit longer and look forward to an announcement. The director specifically called out the title's release in North America and Europe. So you can click on the article for a full breakdown, statement, and some trailers. All right. Next up is PlayStation announces partnership with Discord. This is by the SIE blog and by, up-and-comer in journalism sphere, Jim Ryan. At PlayStation, we're constantly looking for new ways to enable players around the world to connect with one another, form new friendships and communities, and share fun experiences and lasting memories. It's in this spirit that we're excited to announce a new partnership with Discord, the communication service popularized by gamers and used by more than 140 people every month around the world. Together, our team are already hard at work connecting Discord with your social and gaming experience on PlayStation Network. Our goal is to bring the Discord and PlayStation experiences closer together on consoles and mobile starting early next year, allowing friends, groups, and communities to hang out, have fun, and communicate more easily while playing games together. You can click on the article for the full breakdown, but this is following a minor stake acquisition on Sony's part in Discord.
But a partnership is different than buying up a...
Yeah, this follows the news that Microsoft was in talks to acquire Discord, which fell through a few days later or a week later, which is interesting because you're then wondering, okay, why did those talks end and why did Discord announce that they would be partnering up with Sony? Or why did Sony announce that? If I had to guess, it'd be that Microsoft probably proposed that Discord overhaul their system to be built on Microsoft tech, and Discord probably wasn't a fan of that. This is just me speculating, by the way. Because someone on Twitter said that. I don't know who, but it was someone from the industry. But they said that if Discord would be purchased by Microsoft would then have it probably be converted to Azure, which is like the software server side of things for Microsoft, and that would kind of be like a big feather within their cap, saying, oh, we've got this messaging system running on our proprietary engine and it works flawlessly, whatever, and it has this big consumer base. But yeah, I guess that all just fell apart.
Yeah.
Next up is...
Speaking of Sony
patents help system that connects struggling players with experts. This is by Liam Wiseman for IGN. Sony has filed a patent for a system that would allow frustrated gamers to receive support from expert players. The patent filed last week is describing as a system... Wait, let me read that again. The patent filed last week is described as a system that allows for connecting a player to expert help in real time during gameplay of a gaming application. Sony cites the reasons for this as increased video game complexity that adds extra challenge for players. Okay, this is good for accessibility purposes. I hope it becomes a thing.
I'm sure there's going to be plenty of backlash. But
there's already backlash now with Returnal, and people saying, oh, it should be more accessible to save or lower the difficulty, and I'm a big fan of difficulty settings. But there is a case to be made.
Nobody's saying you always have to play. People just want the option. Nobody's saying that it should always be easy. Just give people the option. That's the thing. It's optional, but people act like it ruins their game.
It's not always a case of quote unquote dumbing it down to be easier, but it could also mean a significant amount to people who have slower reaction speeds or whose processing or cognitive functions aren't as up to standard as in comparison to someone who's able-bodied. So it's
not just that, but there are a lot of older people who play video games these days, and reflexes slow down.
Yes, but I think you're overestimating in how much they slow down.
No, I know, but I'm just saying over time, it's just like things happen.
Yes, things happen, but I'd say that it's all in making a level playing field in name of accessibility.
Video games are for everyone.
Should be for everyone. But there is a case to be made for people that say, or developers that say, the difficulty is so tied within the DNA and artistic vision of the game that I don't see how adding a lower difficulty would benefit us or the final product, which is, if that's your stance, then fine. We can't force you to consider...
if you have a PC release, people will always be making mods just to experiment, so...
There's that.
Whether you like it or not, there's going to be something that makes it easier.
Yeah, but yeah. Next up, Prinny presents NIS Classics Volume 1 launches August 31st in North America and September 3rd in Europe. This is by Sal Romano for Gamatsu. Prinny presents NIS Classics Volume 1 will launch for Switch on August 31st in North America, September 3rd in Europe, and September 10th in Oceania. And Soul Nomad and World Eaters will launch for PC via Steam on August 31st. Worldwide, publisher NIS America announced. The console collection includes both Phantom Brave, the Bermuda Triangle Remastered, and Soul Nomad and World Eaters. The latter is already available for PC via Steam. So there's that. Fans of older RPG and SRPG titles or action platforms?
Are you looking into? Are you looking into this?
I'm looking into this because these titles are kind of a blind spot for me. I know they're kind of spin-offs from the Disgaea series, so I'm kind of hesitant to say I love it, but I'm willing to try it. Next up is 3D action RPG Made in Abyss Binary Star Falling into Darkness, announced for PS4, Switch, and PC. This is by Sal Romano for Gamatsu. Spike Chunsoft has announced 3D action RPG Made in Abyss Binary Star Falling into Darkness for PS4, Switch, and PC via Steam. It will launch both physically and digitally in North America, Europe, and Japan in 2022. In Europe, the physical edition will be distributed by Numbskull Games. You can click on article for a full breakdown and announcement. So if you're into sad anime and tragic endings, this might be the game for you.
I never finished this. I got through the first couple of episodes and I was like, I don't know if this is for me.
Well, if you're looking for a sad time, this is for you. This was also coupled with an announcement of the second season of the anime, so...
Oh, I didn't know that.
So
I didn't know they were doing another season.
So Made in Abyss fans, eat your heart out.
But is it going to focus on other characters or something?
I would not know.
I don't know how Made in Abyss ends. So
not happy.
I I can figure out that much. Next, Phantasy Star Online 2, Yakuza, and Space Channel 5 Sega Legacy Scratch Ticket, or Sega Legacy 2 Scratch Tickets dated. This is by Jenny Lotta for Siliconera. A new Sega Legacy AC Scratch Ticket is about to appear in the global version of Phantasy Star Online 2. It took a while, but the Yakuza Like a Dragon outfits are about to appear worldwide. On May 5th, 2021, the Sega Legacy 2 AC Scratch Tickets will appear in Phantasy Star Online 2 and offer 7th Dragon, Space Channel 5, and Yakuza outfits for folks. But give me Gridman! There's a list. There's a whole list about the heroes, Holy So Ichiban Kasuga stuff.
Wait, why would you want Gridman then?
Gridman was in the Japanese version. There were Gridman outfits.
Oh, that makes sense.
I'm not gonna go over the whole list, but yeah, there's Ichiban and Space Channel 5 stuff. So yeah, that's cool. New Genesis. Hope we'll be getting news on it any day. More news on it any day now. Cause the beta, the closed beta is very soon. I think on the 14th, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, Final Fantasy XIV Chokor Pokur mount available via Butterfinger purchases. This is by Jenny Lotta for Siliconera. A Final Fantasy XIV mount formerly only available in Japan via special promotion is coming to additional regions. More people will have a chance to get the Final Fantasy XIV Chokor Pokur mount by buying Butterfingers. The official site is live, listing all the details and requirements. People who spend at least $5 on Butterfinger kinds of candy can get a code for Final Fantasy XIV Chokor Pokur mount. People over 13 years old can upload a copy of the receipt showing the qualifying purchases. However, people might want to act quickly. The official site noted that there will only be up to 199,500 Chokor Pokurs distributed as part of the event. If this variant looks familiar, there's a reason for it. At the end of 2020 in Japan, Lawson had an offer that allowed people to get this mount. People who bought a special Final Fantasy XIV chocolate could win one. Second time Square Enix has used Butterfinger for Final Fantasy. Oh yeah, in-game DLC. I don't know how Butterfinger became like the gamer candy, but it is.
I want to be a fly on the wall in that executive marketing meeting for Final Fantasy.
Look, okay, so we got Mountain Dew. There you have Mountain Dew and Doritos, right? All right. So what if we did a candy and somebody was like Butterfinger?
Like you know what's also as yellow as spikes as Cloud Spiky here? Butterfinger.
The Simpsons?
Yeah.
Oh,
Butterfinger.
because they also did Butterfinger ads.
It's like okay, I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
You know, somebody at Square Enix was watching The Simpsons lately and saw because they make a joke about how they've made Butterfinger ads in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody was like, "Yeah, Butterfinger." Last time I had a Butterfinger, it was way too hard to eat. But I've had them before and they've been fine. So I just maybe there's just you have to wait for them to.
Did you
melt a little bit? I don't know.
Like keep it in the refrigerator?
No, it was right out of a vending machine.
Well, depending
maybe it was old. I don't know.
No, I don't think it was old. It could be that the vending machine was kind of a cooled vending machine. So, if Butterfingers are stored in a cooled area,
I don't know about that. There are chips in it, and they never really tasted. Nothing else ever like. I don't know. Maybe I'll get a Butterfinger just to see if I'm.
All right.
Or wait, $5. I have to get at least like 2 or 3.
Okay, next up is Phil Spencer hasn't given up on xCloud for other consoles. This is by Matt T.M. Kim for IGN. More emails from the Epic versus Apple court case are trickling out along with plenty of high-level conversations between various CEOs. One email exchange between Epic CEO Tim Sweeney and Xbox President Phil Spencer reveals that Xbox's interest in bringing xCloud on other consoles is ongoing. There was regular chatter that Xbox had ambitions to bring its services to systems that weren't, the Xbox. At its height, there were rumors the entire Xbox experience could come to Nintendo Switch. Instead, some Xbox Live functionality exists on the Switch, and xCloud is currently available on PC, Android, and iOS through a slight workaround. But according to an email between Spencer and Sweeney, Xbox is interested in getting its cloud streaming services to other consoles. The quote goes, "At the highest level of Microsoft, we are committed to pushing on these policies and continuing to expand our console platform capabilities," Spencer writes. "You can chime in as you feel comfortable, but I did want to just let you know that I have your point on xCloud on other consoles. Haven't given up," in parentheses. "Free to play outside of Gold. We will get there, and I want to partner with you," in parentheses, "and our store entitlement ideas as items I'm going to review with you to make progress." Okay. Yeah. The Epic versus Apple thing is highly enjoyable and super messy. So I urge you to follow Matt T.M. Kim, Rebecca Valentine, Julia Alexander, Tom Warren.
It's a very interesting case.
All of those people or Jeff Grubb, Nabellion, Daniel Lamad. I mean, so much good stuff is coming out of that court case, and this is just one of them. But I think it's still a possibility, and it makes sense because the Switch has no hardware capabilities to be able to run last gen games to full effect and current gen games at all. So having a cloud capability just makes sense, and I think rather than Nintendo doing their own thing, I think they can offload this to Microsoft and then partner up when it comes to revenue, I guess, because it just makes sense. If someone else is already doing it, why would you bother doing it yourself? And you're not even doing anything to promote it. Like, you have Hitman 3 and Control on the Switch via cloud capabilities, but it's not being touted anywhere. It's not really that popular, I'm assuming. So why not just give this to Microsoft, let them do the marketing, let them tout it as a win for you, and then everyone reaps the benefits. It just makes sense to me. Game Pass is something that would kind of be a bit different, because why provide a service that I can already provide is probably a thinking, and if I'm not mistaken, that was the reaction Microsoft was given by Nintendo. So yeah, we'll see. Next up is Gamescom 2021 will be digital and free. This is by Jenny Lada for Siliconera. There won't be a physical Gamescom 2021 presentation, as the German Games Industry Association will go digital again this year. The nationwide event ban led to Gamescom 2020 being cancelled and going online only. Now again, it will be free for anyone to watch and virtually attend starting on August 23rd, 2021. The goal is to keep people healthy and safe as the COVID-19 pandemic continues. A few of the online events also came up. DevCom will kick Gamescom 2020 off on April 23rd, 2021, for example. Then there will be Jeff Keighley's Gamescom Opening Night Live on August 24th, 2021. Keighley hosted the same show in 2020 and showed off over 20 upcoming games during it. Additional events will follow between August 26th and 27th, 2021. Click on article for full details. Yeah.
Yeah, it's free. That's good.
Next
up, what else do you say? We're still gonna have opening night live. It's fine.
Yeah,
everything's fine.
Next up, we have E3 2021 adds Bandai Namco, Gearbox Software, Sega, Square Enix, Xseed Games, and more. This is by Sal Romano for Gamatsu. E3 2021 has added Bandai Namco Entertainment, Binge.com.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I heard that them do the story on KFGD today, and I don't know what that is.
Binge.com is an immersive streaming platform created for the gaming. Okay, it's a streaming network. Best of luck to you. We have
Yeah.
we have GeForce Now and xCloud. Why would you want to
tough
compete?
competition.
Why would you compete? But more power to you. Okay. Next up, Devious Eye Entertainment, don't know them. Freedom Games, don't know them. Gearbox Software, Sega, Square Enix, Turtle Beach, Verizon, and Exit Games to its list of exhibitors, the Entertainment Software Association announced. E3 2021 is set to continue its legacy as the premier video game industry event as we add new publishers, sponsors, and partners, said Entertainment Software Association President and CEO Stanley Pierre-Louis in a press release. We can't wait to share more details about this virtual event for audiences around the globe. So there's that. If I had to guess, Bandai Namco is probably going to be showcasing Scarlet Nexus, Tales of Arise, and fingers crossed Elden Ring. Jeff Grubbs said Gearbox is doing another Borderlands-esque thing. Sega is probably going to be doing Sonic stuff because they teased that for this year they'd be announcing a lot of Sonic stuff in conjunction with the anniversary, if I'm not mistaken. Square Enix has Babylon's Fall, Forspoken, Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 14, and nothing else that I'm aware of. Maybe The Quiet Man 2, Balan Wonderworld 2.
Don't Balan Wonderworld 2. The Dragon Quest. No, I know Dragon Quest would not be announced at an E3. Well,
with the push they've been getting, I think it's highly likely.
Because I know Imran Khan was saying like, no, I don't expect any Dragon Quest games to be to be announced at a Western event. I was like, well, yeah, with the push that could happen. I don't expect it to.
Yeah.
I do know there was a listing for the Dragon Quest Heroes 1+2 Switch port that was released in Japan a while back, but it's like that port doesn't run very well.
Yeah, so maybe don't.
Yeah. I don't expect a World of Final Fantasy 2.
Wait, is Dragon Quest Builders 1 on Switch?
Yes, they're both on Switch. I have them both. No, I have 2 on Switch. I used to have the first one on Switch. Yeah, both Builders games are on Switch and run okay.
Okay, so I'm guessing the 1+2 pack would then be unnecessary.
No, it's not. It's Heroes 1+2.
Oh, okay. My mistake.
And that's why it doesn't run so well.
Wait. No, Heroes isn't on Switch now.
Not for us. No, not in Japan.
Yeah,
they
in
have
Japan,
the 1+2
but not for
pack.
us. Yeah,
not for us. But there were rumblings of that getting a Western release finally. But it's like kind of what's the point?
I wouldn't waste those 5 minutes in an E3 press conference. But okay.
I don't think it would be 5 minutes, but yeah. Bandai Namco, we got Digimon Survive. God, yes. I hope that comes out this year.
I think that's likely. I mean, they've pushed it like 2 years since originally.
It was originally announced in 2018.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
I think
I'm still. They're supposedly working on a Digimon story game as well, like the next Digimon story game. So.
That could be possible.
They may have been waiting to announce that until Digimon Survive comes out. But the Digimon Survive, or not waiting for more information on that. But since Digimon Survive hasn't come out, they haven't put out more information on
I mean, they could announce both because they're different.
They're different enough.
Stories is more straightforward turn-based RPG, and Survive is more an SRPG, so...
/ visual novel.
Yeah, there's that.
And then, Digimon World is a completely different thing.
Yeah.
I have a whole article on GameSkinny about that. It's how in the West, Digimon World and Digimon Stories, the titles kind of got all mishmashed.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the West, a bunch of different games are called Digimon World when they're not actually true Digimon World games.
I mean, that's typical for Western releases of Japanese games where they kind of want to piggyback off of a more well-known brand or title.
Yeah.
It
was after Digimon World 4. They called most of the Digimon games that came out Digimon World until I think Cyber Sleuth.
Yeah. The one that surprises me is Exceed Games. So, how many niche RPGs or visual novels are going to be announced? So, that's kind of what I'm looking forward to.
What have they done recently?
Let's see. Exceed Games, because the Trails of Heroes stories is now under NIS, if I'm not mistaken, and not Exceed anymore. They did Story of Seasons, Sakuna of Rice and Rain, Rune Factory.
Looks like they did some older EDF games.
Yeah, so I'm guessing
EDF 4.1 and EDF 2.
So I'm guessing Rune Factory 5 and Akiba's
Rune Factory 5 and maybe the EDF Switch ports that have been recently announced.
Maybe. But yeah, we'll see. Next up is Switch worldwide sales top 84.59
Rice and Ruin, that's a big one.
million. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury tops 5.59 million. This is by Sal Romano for Gamatsu. Nintendo Switch has sold 84.59 million units worldwide as of March 31st, 2020, Nintendo announced in its latest earnings release. A total of 4.72 million Switch hardware and 54.78 million software were sold during the 3 months ended March 31st. I'm confused. Shouldn't this be March 31st, 2021? Because I feel that's when the fiscal year ends and not 2020. Because that was the last year.
Probably.
Yeah. Nintendo also shared updated sales numbers for its first-party Switch titles. So I'm going to round them off. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at about 35 million. So you're not going to see Mario Kart 9 anytime soon. Animal Crossing New Horizons at 32 million, almost 33 million. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at 23.84 million, so almost 24 million. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild at 22 million. Sword and Shield at 21 million. Mario Odyssey at 21 million almost. Super Mario Party at almost 15 million. Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee at 13 million, Splatoon 2 at 12 million, and New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe at 10.44 million, so almost 11 million. It's surprising when you look at the games, and even the games that haven't broken the top 10, that they're outselling anything on the other platforms. Like, by a lot. And that's because when we're talking about successes about the games like The Last of Us 2 or Ghost of Tsushima or Days Gone, maybe we never really considered comparing them to what the Switch is selling. And when you compare it to what the Switch is selling, and you're like, okay, wow, that really pales in comparison. But it's not all about how much more you sell, but it's likely that it'll be the most important factor for these companies. So there is that.
Yeah, I was watching KFGD today, and Tim was saying how he thinks maybe Switch could outsell. What was it? Did he say outsell PS2 eventually? Be number one.
Is it PS2 the number one, or is it PS4?
No, I think he said outsell PS4. PS2 is number one.
Let me see. Best selling.
I think it's like PS2 and Game Boy Color, but I don't know why the Wii wasn't mentioned.
The Wii is at 100 million.
Okay.
So it's on track to beat that at least. The PS2 has 155 million. So let me see, by the end of this year, they'd probably be at around 100 million. And with the Switch Pro and possibly rumors of the next Switch release after that, they'll probably be somewhere around the 130 million mark.
Yeah.
And if they're really good and really solid with their hardware supply and their software releases, they could overtake the PlayStation 2. But yeah, it's a really good year for the Switch. It's continuing to be a good year for the Switch, which is surprising.
I think I need to check. IGN might still be down. Yeah, IGN's still down. So I think the original story is from Bloomberg.
Well, it's everyone's reporting on financial news. It's not Bloomberg specific. But
No, this lawsuit thing. The next story.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Sony sued for limiting purchases of games to PlayStation Store. This is by Robert Burnson for Bloomberg. Sony Interactive Entertainment LLC is operating an unlawful monopoly by restricting purchases of PlayStation games to its in-house store, consumers claimed in a lawsuit. In a proposed class action suit, the gamers. Why does it have to say it like that? It should be like the specific people who actually filed the lawsuit. But said Sony stopped allowing third-party retailers, including Amazon Inc., Best Buy Co., and Walmart Incorporated, to sell download codes for PlayStation games 2 years ago. As a result, Sony's PlayStation Store became the only source for digital PlayStation games, the consumer said. Sony's monopoly allows it to charge super competitive prices for digital PlayStation games, which are significantly higher than their physical counterparts sold in a competitive retail market, and significantly higher than they would be in a competitive retail market for digital games, the consumer said. People end up paying as much as 175% more for downloadable games than the same ones on disc, according to the suit. Sony didn't return a request for comment after hours Wednesday. The case is Cockery versus Sony Interactive Entertainment, LLC. It's a case in San Francisco. I didn't know places stopped selling. I still see PlayStation cards at places.
No, PlayStation cards will continue to be available, but digital games are no longer available via...
the cards for the game specifically.
Yeah. Digital codes. So
yeah.
they could be selling them via email or having the top-up
like
cards.
The ones you see.
Yeah. The gift
the 3DS
cards.
ones you see.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Do people really... I guess they can put those on sale. Yeah, retailers can put those cards on sale, but I don't feel like that happens very often.
I mean, it would help a lot because, for example, my credit card is not able to be used on the PlayStation site, but it is able to be used on Amazon site. So I could get digital games easily via Amazon that way. I wouldn't have to calculate how much money I need for like a specific game or a specific game that's on sale, and then kind of have to okay, if I buy 2 of these and 1 of these, I'll have enough, and then I can buy this game. Or if they had the full game codes, I could just buy it instantly, fill in the code on my PlayStation Network, and then have the game. It's so much easier.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens with this. And our last story, before we get into the main topic, is Earth Defense Force 6 will see the return of Wing Diver. This is by Kite Stenbuck for Siliconera. D3 Publisher started adding game details to the Japanese official site for Earth Defense Force 6. Other than introducing more enemy types and key characters who fight with the player's unit, the site also confirmed Ranger and Wing Diver as the first 2 soldier types available in the game. Ranger was the first playable soldier introduced in EDF6. D3 previously revealed new activities that he couldn't do in the prequel EDF5, such as jumping over obstacles and placing attack robots on trucks. The female Wing Diver will also be available in this game. Despite having less armor than the Ranger, she makes it up with mobility from her jetpack and lightweight energy weapons that do not need ammunition. Earth Defense Force 6 will take place around Base 251, an underground facility located somewhere within 100 kilometers of EDF-5's Base 228. The base is headed by a former drill instructor who got promoted to a captain because most of the higher officers had fallen in the previous war. The site also introduced the Professor, a former chief researcher from the EDF Advanced Technology Laboratory who tried to live in seclusion after losing his family and lab due to war. An organization in the current EDF forcefully conscripted and assigned him to Base 251. Despite being a non-combatant with civilian clothing, he now has to wield a rifle and fight in the front lines with the captain and other soldiers. EDF 6 has a end of 2021 release window. Platforms are yet to be announced. There will be giant frogs and dragons in addition to the giant bugs. As you do. I don't know.
Something to look forward for you, I guess.
Yeah, I'm excited for the EDF World Brothers, and I have been playing a little bit of 4.1. I totally forgot to talk about it, but I'll talk about it next time.
Okay.
Next, our main topic. So how we're just going to talk about our experiences with Xbox so far, given that mine has been fixed and you got a new one.
Yes, I got.
Or you got a Series S.
Yeah,
and you've had a full week with it.
Well, almost a full week, and next Friday.
A full week with it.
Yeah, like tomorrow, Friday would be a full week. Excuse me, I got mine last Friday. I've been tinkering with it. It's great so far.
And it already broke. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but funny you should mention that because today when I started playing, the UI froze, and I'm like, okay, is this normal? And then I was switching between apps and games just to see if I could like get it unstuck, and then it auto rebooted. So I'm like, is this gonna be a trend? Because this is how it started on my PS4 last time, where it auto rebooted, and I'm like, I'm not a fan of this. But so far it's been fine mostly.
Yeah, I've never had that issue.
I'm thinking it's whenever a game is in suspended animation, like with quick resume, and it just takes up so much RAM memory that it just is unable to free up space or energy to focus on other tasks. So the game or the console just freezes up and needs a reboot to free up some resources to function properly. So that's the only thing so far.
Again, there are always going to be hiccups with the earlier versions of consoles.
Yeah, but with all the trouble I went through to get this, I was expecting a more flawless experience. Because this is not fun. Like
you were still expecting a flawless experience after the stuff that I went through with.
Yes, because I am not looking forward to shipping this to Microsoft to get it fixed and get it back. Because no one here.
I thought you said it still. Wait, I thought you said it was working fine after that. Is it still an issue?
No, it's working fine, but I'm getting to the point that if it continues to be a problem and becomes an issue of such a magnitude that I can't play anymore, then I'm stuck with the decision, okay, do I buy a new one? Do I send this in for repairs? Because if I have to send it in for repairs, I'd have to ship it from my country all the way to Seattle, Washington. Or where is Microsoft located? I think it's Seattle, Washington. Or wherever they are. I'd have to ship it to them, get it fixed, get it shipped back, which cost-wise would amount to a whole new Xbox Series S probably. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. So that's my only issue really. So far what I've noticed is that the UI is not as smooth as people make it out to be. It works fine. It's a lot better than the PS4 UI. No sweat about that. No doubt about that. But there are like tiny hiccups that you notice, and some button presses on the controller don't register. So I'm wondering, is it my controller only, or is it that the Xbox controller is just so squishy that you really have to press on the buttons for them to be registered?
I don't know. I haven't felt that.
Huh. Because it's definitely a thing I notice, and maybe I'm just being hyper aware of everything.
Sometimes I felt that. I thought I felt that in Nier, but I think it's just my reflexes weren't quite fast enough when jumping to dodge a certain type of like a ground attack.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, man, I was like, but I pressed A. I thought I did. But then I'll do it again and it'll be fine. So I think it's just more my reflexes than the controller itself, because that's the only problem I've had.
It's different here because it's not a twitch reflex that I have to enable.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It's like, okay, I want to go to the store. I'm pressing A to go to the store. And I'm like, but nothing's happening. What's up? Then I have to
it might just be your controllers being a bit weird.
Could be. But it could also be just the thing that the Xbox controller is like, the face buttons have to be pressed in like a lot more in comparison to the Switch controller or the PS4 controller. It could be a thing. I don't know. But otherwise, I'm still enjoying it. I've gotten the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for $1, which is like, that option is for everyone that has a new Xbox, which is great. We've been playing Gears of War, I want to say. What else? What else have I been playing? I've also been playing Armello, which is in Games with Gold. I played the Contra Hardcore Uprising, or was it? What is the name again? The Contra game that was on Games with Gold last month. That I've played. I forgot to put that in the list. And there was a sale going on, or is currently still going on, where you get a double pack of Immortals Phoenix Rising and Assassin's Creed Valhalla for about $65. So I got that. And now I'm just like waiting on new releases. And I might be getting Resident Evil Village. That comes out tomorrow. I'm looking forward to Scarlet Nexus, Tales of Arise. There's also Nier Replicant and the updated version for Yakuza Like a Dragon. And there's also the recently dropped Judgment next gen console boost.
Right.
All kinds of neat stuff.
And all the stuff on Game Pass, and
there's a lot of Game Pass.
There's stuff backwards compatibility stuff.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, what am I going to play? And I'm looking at the list. And I'm like, oh no, there's so much. Oh no.
Yeah.
Like
it's the Netflix problem of games.
I'm kind of behind on my Gears of War, so I've been playing through that. Funny story. My brother put Gears of War 4 to download, which is like 100 gigabytes. Which is a lot, and I'm assuming it's because there's 4K texture packs that make it so big. And it took like about 3 days to download, and then he only played for like an hour or two, because that was where he left off when he played it on his PC, and he just he breezed through the game, and then that was it. Like, I wasted so much time downloading a game and it was finished within an hour, and I'm like, okay, that was anticlimactic. So much time wasted. I could have downloaded something else. I'm enjoying it. The downloads are also boosted, so if you have something that's pretty sizable, like say 50 gigs, it might be sooner downloaded sooner than you first think it would be, because
I downloaded way too many Game Pass games one day, and went over our internet cap, which I didn't know we had.
Wow!
Since we got new internet, I didn't know we had a data cap.
Wow.
But it wasn't like they just charged a little extra. It wasn't like a huge deal. But now I'm like, because I'm not usually downloading that many big games at once, that's not like a thing I do.
You just want to test it out.
It included Destiny 2 and Outriders, and that's probably what did it, because both those games are like 70 gigs. So
Yeah, and you just wanted to test it
and
out.
I didn't even try out, and I ended up not even trying Outriders and deleted it.
Wow. So yeah,
but Destiny 2's on there.
I'm trying to refrain from downloading everything because the Series S is also limited to about 350 gigabytes of available storage. I'm tempted to get the portable SSD expansion card, which is still very expensive, but it might be needed. I'm definitely getting a rechargeable battery pack. But other than that, I'm
that's mine. I just got a rechargeable battery charger thing that came with batteries that I can use for my Xbox controller and my Switch Pro controller.
Like rechargeable batteries themselves, or like a battery pack?
It was a charger that came with 4 batteries.
Oh, that's convenient.
Yeah, because when we were talking about that the other day, and I was like, yeah, that would make more sense. And then, because I'm not buying batteries often, and I don't want to.
Yeah, it's not environmentally friendly to keep buying batteries.
Also, it's like I don't need it for most things. It's like those 2 controllers and my TV remote, and like the TV remote is not gonna lose battery super fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm really enjoying my time with the Xbox. I like the controller. Has nice textures around it. I guess I'm missing out on like the DualSense's haptic feedback, but yeah, it's beggars can't be choosers. I only had the option of getting the Xbox Series S, so I'm content with my choice. I will be bummed out when Final Fantasy 16 drops finally, and I'm like, okay, I'm watching on the sidelines, waving at you, PlayStation folks. It's like, enjoy it.
It's just timed exclusive. It's fine.
Enjoy it on my behalf. Yeah, that's only the biggest thing. Like, you wrote the article on Japanese game support for Xbox.
Improving, yeah.
Which has been improving. But it's still kind of...
That list was just ridiculous.
I mean,
when I looked at everything, all the backwards compatible games, and yeah, there were some missing here and there, but like I was just listening the Japan developed games, and even though that's a fraction of what's available, it's still a huge list.
Yeah, I mean, you probably could not play through everything within like a month. You'd have...
I am a little bummed out that my whole old Xbox library did not return. Some games did, but because of license, like rights and licensing and all that, I'm sure that's part of why. Like Simpsons Arcade, that I wasn't expecting that to come back.
Like if you have the
there
disc,
was some other stuff.
You can still play it, right?
There was no disc of that, but
okay.
I don't know. I don't have any Xbox disc of anything.
Oh, okay. Like
and then, like Fight Night Round 4, and I'm guessing because that's a sports game and licensing stuff, music and likenesses and all that.
Yeah, so I actually have like a pretty decent library of Xbox 360 games that I can no longer play now that I have a Series S, and that's all digital.
Oh yeah, because you don't have a disc drive, yeah.
And I'm like, oh well. I at least they're cheap to get digitally, so if ever I should feel the urge of getting into those games, I could then buy them. Yeah, like
I'm waiting for Blue Dragon to go on sale again because it goes on sale like all the time. And once then I could finally get it.
I mean, it's not that expensive.
No, like I know, but I like to save money.
15
and I'm playing a bunch of other games right now. No, it's 20.
Is it 20?
Yeah, it's 20.
Well, let me see, because I was looking at Blue Dragon and Lost Odyssey, and
unless I'm getting it confused with the physical version, which I was also looking up.
Let's see, marketplace.xbox.com.
Because like it's been on sale for like 10 or like 7 before, so that's why I'm just like, well, I'd rather just weigh it.
Okay.
until the next time.
Yeah.
And then, I put so many games on my wish list. Like I said before, the Soul Calibur games and Blinks and Lost Odyssey, like you said, and Infinite Undiscovered, all those Xbox JRPGs almost.
My advice, don't go for Infinite Undiscovery.
But I saw the dinner dance.
No, don't. No, go read a book. Go touch grass.
I should go finish my Iwata book.
Go finish your Iwata book. There are a million other things that will be a lot more enjoyable. Trust me.
Oh, there's also Enchanted Arms I put on there.
That's a curious game.
That one sounded really interesting. I was like, why haven't I heard about this one?
It's one of the first RPGs that was launched on the Xbox 360 and was 360 exclusive, if I'm not mistaken. And it's by From Software, of all people. And I want to play it, but I'm also scared of not liking it. But it's just so odd that I might go through with it.
I just wish I could play Phantasy Star Universe again, or they brought back 1 versus 100.
Yeah, Phil Spencer is aware of the 1 versus 100 demand, so
yeah, so maybe an E3 announcement.
Yeah, that's the biggest news of E3 2021. But
Halo Infinite release date? Nah, and 1 versus 100 is coming back.
Yeah, well, at least we got that. I saw you write about Eternal Sonata on...
Yeah, because that's not on backwards compatibility.
That's not on backwards compatibility, but it is on PlayStation Now if you are...
But nobody uses that.
You could use that if you wanted to play it. I'm just saying.
Also, the Darkness 1. I know that's not a Japanese game, but it's a console... They never made a PC version of it. I love the Darkness 2. So
is it not on backwards compatibility?
No, it is.
Oh, okay.
The Darkness 1, but it's just not on PC. It doesn't have a PC version.
Yeah, all things considered, the Xbox is a great value. With Game Pass alone, you have 100 plus games.
They're gonna be like, oh, you guys are such Xbox shills. Like, no, man, I have all the consoles, so I like all of them. Do I like them equally? I don't know yet.
Listen, I wanted a PS5. I couldn't buy a PS5 because it wasn't available anywhere. So unless you're giving me it for free, don't complain.
Meanwhile, I'm trying to figure out which console I should do stream movies and TV shows on. I'm like, should I keep... Because everything's on my PS5, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Xbox has more streaming apps. So... it would make more sense to move all of that to use my Xbox for that instead.
I'd say so, yes.
But I don't see any other benefits of that, except for, Xbox still has the Microsoft still has their movies and TV section of the store.
Yeah, PlayStation doesn't.
Yeah.
So, it's up to you.
I don't know if there's a visual benefit or not. I don't think there is. There might be slightly.
In terms of media, I'd say Xbox. And in terms of bang for your buck, it's Xbox because Game Pass alone covers almost all your genre bases.
Yeah. Like I said, it'll be very. Like I said in the article, it'll be very interesting to keep an eye on these consoles as the generation moves forward, because things seem so opposite to where they were at the end, not the end, because it's not the end of last generation, but the later years of the... Well, no, not even the later years, the earlier years, I guess, because Xbox One was kind of focusing more on Western support, and PS4 was doing more of a mix of things.
Yeah,
and now it's kind of the other way around.
It's because in terms of the PlayStation 3, they had a lot of catching up to do because the development of games for the system was also very difficult. So a lot of people opted for Microsoft in the first case, and Microsoft also had the big push with JRPGs, with 3 new titles from Square Enix: Infinite Undiscovery, Last Remnant, and Star Ocean Last Hope, which all kind of were hit or miss, more miss than hit. And even Final Fantasy 13.
I have Last Hope. I just need to play it.
Final Fantasy 13 even landing on 360 was a big get for Microsoft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you had like developers like Ninja Theory. Was that Ninja Theory or Team Ninja? Which Team Ninja? Is that the Koei Tecmo one? Yeah. Team Ninja. The ones that make Dead or Alive. Yeah, Team Ninja. They had a lot of content on Xbox with Dead or Alive, with the Ninja Gaiden series. You had so much good content on the 360 back in the day, and then it kind of fizzled out towards the end. And with the Xbox One, they were kind of scrambling to undo a lot of the bad press they got from the start.
From the not being able to share games or whatever that weird stuff was.
Yeah, games were tied to DRM, so to play games,
and you know how much people don't like that.
Yeah, so to play a game you own on someone else's console, you'd have to pay a digital license to enable that, and no one liked that. Which, eventually led to them becoming the Microsoft they are today, which is a lot more aggressive in terms of supporting people. Yeah. Supporting companies, supporting developers. And with the recent acquisition of Bethesda, they've just strengthened their hold on
I was going to bring that up too. Because Bethesda... So, Phil Spencer has talked about acquiring a Japanese studio before. Mm-hmm. But they do already have one through Bethesda. They have Tango Gameworks, who have done The Evil Within, The Evil Within 2, and are currently working on Ghostwire Tokyo. Yeah. Now, we don't know if they're looking into acquiring another Japanese studio or not. Our friend Cameron Hawkins wrote an interesting article that I don't agree with, but that's okay. It was still a very interesting read.
But what's the article
how
saying?
He thought Microsoft, if they got a Japanese studio, it would be From Software.
I'd say that's unlikely.
No, yeah, that's unlikely. I don't know if he's changed his opinion on that, or if it's if it's shifted a little bit or what. But I thought it was a very interesting article. It's a old DualShockers article before the whole DualShockers split happened.
Who would you see Microsoft buying up?
Bandai Namco. No, I'm just kidding. That's way too big.
I think Bandai Namco is also unlikely because they are tied to so many IPs.
Yeah, it's not.
And they have anime and merchandising.
It would be smaller. It would probably be a smaller studio than that.
Microsoft definitely has the money to make that purchase, but I don't think.
Yeah, but it's not the. I don't think people actually have to.
Yeah,
convinced that it would be a good move for them too.
Yeah, that's true. I
can't see any specific developer unless they somehow if they rekindle their friendship with Platinum.
That's possible. There's no bad blood between them, as Kamiya and Spencer have said in previous interviews. So
bring back Scalebound.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
But let Kamiya do what he wants.
I think if Microsoft was to buy someone, it would probably be Sega, because everyone's thinking Sega, because they definitely do need the financial support these days. But
really, with stuff like Yakuza and Sonic, and
they definitely would strengthen
Phantasy Star,
their stable of releases, because lest we forget, Persona is also a Sega franchise,
and Atlas. Yeah.
So
not only that, but they have all that Yakuza, all that Goodwill experience.
Yeah,
there's all those Yakuza games on Game Pass and all that.
But if I were to make a bet, it's probably gonna be a publisher / developer we're not thinking of.
Yeah.
And if I had
That's
to guess,
a bit smaller.
it'd probably be Exceed Games or NIS America.
That would be interesting.
Because with that, it opens up the publishing arm for Japanese games. And they might not even make these games exclusive because the return on investment on Japanese games is a lot smaller these days. So they're probably going to be opening it up to be multi-platform. Like you'll still see titles on Switch, still see titles on Steam, on PS4 or PS5. So them buying it is more like securing those titles for their own platform, but they'll still remain multi-platform. That's what I'm thinking. But I think
that's it.
That's about it.
Yeah, because I had nothing else to say about that. And we're about at that time.
Yeah. It was.
We'll talk about PlayStation on another episode when we get more Japanese games on there.
Or if I ever get my hands on the PS5. We'll see.
You will someday. We'll definitely talk about that. Talk about PlayStation 5 during E3. We'll probably do some reactions videos and stuff. But anyways, yeah. So play video games, watch anime, stay safe. That Yasuke anime is out.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet, but
it's by all accounts very good.
Yes.
Produced by LaShawn Thomas, featuring Lakeith Stanfield and Dia Frampton from Megan Dia. So shout out to her.
Soundtrack by Flying Lotus.
Yeah, Flying Lotus. So it's
who I actually got confused. I got Flying Lotus actually confused with the Persona 3 artist Lotus Juice. I was like, wait.
Yeah, not the same.
Not the same. Just both have Lotus in the name.
But yeah, this was it for us. This has been Erroll. This has been Jason. Thank you for listening.
Yes.
And we'll see you next time.
Yep. Matane.